In this video, I'm going to show you a simple trick that's going to simplify definite integration. Hi, this is Ash with Math Hero Academy, bringing you another interesting integration puzzle. Please like and subscribe to this channel so I can keep bringing you more of these puzzles very frequently. To solve this integral of 1 over 1 plus tan x power 4 from 0 to pi, our first step is gonna be to break this definite integral from 0 to pi divided by 2 and then add the integral from pi divided by 2 through pi. So let's write that down real quick. We're gonna break this down as 0 over pi divided by 2 and this whole thing inside plus pi divided by 2 to pi of this whole thing again dx, and that's going to be your first hint. Pause this video for a quick few seconds to see if you can then evaluate the integral. Remember, there's going to be a relationship between this second integral, which is going to greatly simplify this calculation. It's not a very easy integral to solve, but good luck solving it. Okay, we are back, and hopefully you had some traction with these integrals. The step to simplify both of these integrations is to write down tan power 4x as sine x divided by cosine x power 4. So let's write that down. So we're gonna erase tan power 4x, and instead of that we're gonna write down sine power 4x divided by cosine power 4x. X is right over here. That's sine power 4x divided by cosine power 4x. And now we can again simplify this. We can just take the cosine power 4 here, and then the remaining cosine power 4 goes to the numerator. Similarly, we're going to have an exact same expression here. So let's even further simplify this. We can write this as cosine power 4x, and then instead of the 1 we're going to have a cosine power 4 here, and similarly we're going to have the exact same expression here. So let's write that down. We're going to have a cosine power 4x and cosine power 4x. Now, if you're still not able to calculate this integral, and it is indeed a slightly challenging integral to solve, I would invite you to first consider this integral and use a substitution, which is greatly gonna simplify this integral, so that when added to this integral, everything becomes super easy. So that's gonna be your second hint. Use some kind of a substitution here so that you can add to this integral and simplify everything very easily. Hopefully you were able to use the second hint to simplify this expression using a particular type of u substitution, and that substitution is u to be equal to x minus pi divided by 2. Now the reason we've chosen this substitution is so that these integration limits pi by 2 to pi after using this substitution become 0 to pi divided by 2, because when you have x to be equal to pi here, the limit when you substitute u is going to be pi minus pi divided by 2, and that's just going to be equal to pi over 2, and at the bottom you're going to have u to be equal to pi by 2 minus pi by 2, and that's going to be equal to 0. And that's one way you can try adding these integrals together, because now you can bring both of these expressions inside a single integration sign. But anyway, let's evaluate what happens to this expression here when we use the substitution. So let's write down cosine power 4 of, because you've got x here, you can write down u plus pi divided by 2. So you're going to write down u plus pi divided by 2, and then over here you're going to write down similarly cosine of u plus pi divided by 2 power 4, and then you're going to have the sine power 4 of u plus pi divided by 2. Now here's your final hint. Simplify this expression and see if you can add something to this expression and greatly simplify your answer. Hopefully you were able to solve this problem. You've got cosine of u plus pi divided by 2 power 4. Now recall that cosine of u plus pi divided by 2 is equal to cosine of u times cosine of pi divided by 2 minus sine of u sine of pi divided by 2, and cosine of pi divided by 2 is 0, and this is 1. Sine of pi divided by 2 is 1. So you're left with sine of u with a negative sign, but remember you got a power 4 here, and so you can raise this to 4, and so this answer is just equal to sine of 4, sine of u power 4, and so you can substitute this expression right over here. So let's immediately write this down here. You can just simply write down sine of u power 4, and we can also write sine of u power 4 here. Sine of u power 4, and now you can calculate sine of u plus pi divided by 2, and to use that to simplify it in just the terms of u, we're going to use the expansion formula for sine of u plus pi divided by 2, and that is going to be sine of u plus pi divided by 2 is equal to sine of u times cosine of pi divided by 2 plus sine of pi divided by 2 times cosine of u. We know this expression goes to 0 because cosine of pi divided by 2 is 0, and this is 1. Sine of pi divided by 2 is equal to 1, and so the answer over here is just cosine of u, and so we can just write down cosine of u power 4 here. And so we've got cosine of u power 4 here, and now you can see everything is gonna be easily simplified. Recall that the u over here is just a dummy variable. You can write down any expression, any variable that you want. Of course, we need to first write down du here, because remember dx over here is equal to du when you differentiate this. So now, going back to our argument that u is a dummy variable, and you can write down a y if you want over here. You can write down any real variable here, because you're actually integrating the answer between 0 and pi divided by 2. So it doesn't really matter as long as you're differentiating with respect to the same variable. And so, of course, we will substitute in place of u and y, we're going to just write down x over here. So let's write that down. So we're just going to write down all the x's here in place of this variable. So we've got x here, we've got x here, we've got x here, and we've got x here. And now we just copy this expression down here. You're going to have a 0 to pi divided by 2. This is the expression we haven't touched yet. We've got cosine of x power 4 divided by sine of x power 4 plus cosine of x power 4. And now you can bring these both expressions inside the same integral, and you've got 0 to pi divided by 2 cosine of 4x plus sine of cosine of x power 4 plus sine of x power 4, and in the denominator you've got sine of x power 4 plus cosine of power 4 dx, and these two terms are now canceling out, and all you're left with is just a dx from 0 to pi divided by 2, and so your answer is just going to be equal to pi divided by 2. So you can see how easy it was to calculate this integration just by using this u substitution. And now here's the challenge problem for you. We're going to integrate from 0 to 2n pi, where n is an integer, so something like 0 to pi or 2 pi or 4 pi or even negative of 2 pi. And the integrand, the term inside, is 1 divided by 1 plus tan power m x. Actually, it needs to be tan power 2mx, so you're gonna have an even power of tan. And post in the comments below what you think this answer is going to be equal to, so we can see if you can solve this particular challenge. And don't forget to like and subscribe this channel, as it helps me to bring you more of these interesting puzzles. So till then, I'll see you very soon.